Ytrebion wanted to cover a table with paper. The table was a rectangle that was 24 inches long and 32 inches wide. How many square inches of paper will he need to cover the table? When looking at this problem, I notice that at the end it says how many square inches. And it gives me both the length and the width of the table. I also know that square inches is how we measure area. And when we find area, we use length times width. So area equals length times width. So to find the square inches or area of paper needed, I would have to multiply 24 times 32 to end up with the area of paper that he will need to cover the table. When multiplying two-digit numbers, I can use the area model to break them apart from expanded form, break them apart into easier to work with numbers, multiply, find partial products, and get a total product. To use the area model, you first draw a rectangle or a square, depending on what you're working with. All right, now that I have a rectangle drawn, I'm going to cut the rectangle apart on the top where I'm going to show, let's show 32 on the top. So I'm going to cut it into two parts. One part will represent the tens, or 30. The other part will represent 2, because 30 plus 2 is equal to 32. So it's the same length on the top. And on the side, I'm going to cut it again into 20 plus 4, because 20 plus 4 equals 24, which is this same length right here, 24 times 32, and we know that when we multiply the length times width, we get the area, and so showing it like this is going to help us find the area, and it breaks down in a simpler way. So we do 20 plus 4 times 30 plus 2, and there's 4 little rectangles in here that we're going to find the area of. Something important you're going to need to know is that in a rectangle, my opposite sides are equal. So if this side is 20, and so is this side. And if this side is 4, so is this one. And if this side length is 30, so is this one. And if this side is 2, so is this one. Now I've labeled all the sides I need to now go through and multiply my length times my widths and find the areas. So for this first one, I'll be doing 20 times 30. Down here, I'll be doing 4 times 30. Here, I'll be doing 2 times 4, or 4 times 2. And in this rectangle, I'll do 20 times 2. The next step is to multiply out these 4 problems and add up your products. That'll get us the product of the original problem, 24 times 32. So down here you can see I've written 20 times 30, 20 times 2, 4 times 30, and 4 times 2. I'm going to solve each one of these problems using rules for multiplying by multiples of 10 and just my multiplication facts. For the first problem, you have 20 times 30, which is really 2 times 3 is 6, and then I count my zeros, which is 1, 2, and you just put those 2 zeros at the end. So 20 times 30 equals 600. You then have 20 times 2, which is again really just 2 times 2, and that is 4. And then you have 1 0, which becomes 40. I then have 4 times 30, which is going to be 4 times 3, and that's 12. And I add 1 0, and that makes it 120. And 4 times 2, there's no extra zeros because there's no multiples of 10 here, so it's just 4 times 2, which is 8. You then add up all of these products. You might need to rewrite them over on the side. I lined mine up already, so I can add them straight up from here. Line up your place values, add them up, and you'll have your total product. 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 8 equals 8. 0 plus 4 plus 2 equals 6. 6 plus 1 equals 7. So now I know that 768 equals 24 times 32, which means when I answer the question, how many square inches of paper will he need to cover the table, the answer would be 768 square inches of paper.